I'm Lauren Teresa, and I'm recording today is day 12 of no short form content. So we're getting close to 2 weeks. And I had my second round of my bite balancing done. I forget the technical name for it. So sorry if I sound strange. I have a new bite and I am adjusting, and my lower jaw is actually shifted to the right, and I have a headache. but But I'm also sitting in a strange place in my home in the living room next to the television because my house is a mess. We had a crafting day yesterday. And so we bought white shoes and we designed them. We have paint markers and beads and felt and scissors and hot glue gun. All of it is out on the floor from the time we got home yesterday until it was bedtime. In fact, I think there were some tears as the last bracelets were going together because everyone was so tired, but we were crafting. Anyway, so I will say that I was as present as I knew how to be crafting with my kids yesterday. And I know that sounds kind of terrible in a way, but it's because being off of short form content now, no TikTok, no Instagram reels, no Facebook, and being a minimalist and frugal mom and navigating this world sort of on my own, especially in this economy, a lot has come up for me. I'm still doing long form content on YouTube. So I switched to YouTube. I do have a following on TikTok. So I try to make 3-minute videos from these and then put some of them on TikTok because there were people on TikTok talking about the harms of short form content and also minimalism and creativity. And every time you open the app, you have to create and not just, watch videos, which I did for a little while, but then I just would go back to scrolling for hours and hours. And social media is a double-edged sword because, yes, I do like seeing about people's lives and especially people I'm close with, but I also see that I can just call them. I'm really close to them and or text them photos that I've taken. I don't want to be one of those elder millennials who says, I'm over there. But here I am, yet here I am. I have been consuming a lot of The Fairy Cottage and Timothy Ward, and of course, Gabe Bolt and the other minimalist, Matt Diavella, of course. And I have been watching all this stuff for years. I read Your Money or Your Life in 2008. I devoured a Mr. Money Mustache blog. I read You Can Buy Happiness and It's Cheap about Tiny Living by Tammy Strobel, which I just reread. And I finished a real book, 12 days off of short form content. And I finished a real book. And I'm listening to Stolen Focus. It was the first one available for audiobook or Kindle version at my library. One of the things about living on an island is that there's like 6 libraries, and you can just return books to any of them. So if you want to go get, especially a popular book, it's hard to track down. So there's that. Yeah. So 12 days off short form content. Brain has been, I would say I probably cry once a day. Usually in the morning, oddly enough, I just get this sense of like, maybe it's not using the phone when I wake up for social media, or maybe it's just like the wind in the trees. Honestly, like I was just watching this video it was a Happen Films video, amazing channel on YouTube. If you need to like feel something positive and go check them out. And it was this woman and her partner who were reforesting their land, and she came from a long line of monocrop farmers. And so she said that after she planted her 100th tree, she stopped crying. After 300 trees, a squirrel started following her. And then she said after 800 trees, I don't remember. See, this is what happens. The memory totally got. But anyway, I did start crying watching this short film because you could see how happy she was being wild and free and living in the forest and just being connected. And I think of myself as an introvert, but I also think that maybe, and I could be being a little elitist here, and I'm sorry if it comes off that way, that I think with the modern world the way it is, I get so overstimulated so easily, just even driving in traffic or being in a store with the light and like the sound. And I get like this weird claustrophobia in the world if I'm not in a quiet, like peaceful home or like a clean home or nature or simple home or simple life. I get really not okay. And I'm starting to realize how long I've been living and running in survival mode, especially being on short form content, because when I was getting separated and divorced, I used it to regulate. And I'm actually grateful it was there for me in a way. It's hard to say because I get it. I get why I use it. I get why many times I put it down or took the apps off my phone and then just got them back. I didn't have connection. And this time around, I just told myself, kind of like when I quit smoking, when I was 27, that it's better to cry than to smoke a cigarette. You can want it so bad and cry about it. You don't have to do it. And I read Alan Carr's The Easy Way to Stop Smoking. And I'm seeing my dad, smoke his whole life. And I just, the longer it went, the harder it got. And so I think maybe that's how I felt about short form video. I mean, I grew up with cable TV. They called that the indie box back then, right? And it wasn't wrong per se. I do talk a lot about the two graduate school when I didn't have a TV, and I think it was one of the happiest times of my life. I really felt connected to my body. I was training for a marathon. I got sober. I school with big ideas. I was in social work. So it felt like I was really doing something, and I had clarity around who I was and my purpose. And for me, just having short form content or a lot of social media in my life, I don't feel happy in those spaces. I'm also not a hyper social person. So sometimes I think I feel like I'm supposed to be this way instead of myself. And I kind of lose that connection to myself in short form content. Less so in long form. I do think that long form content is a bit of a crutch for me right now, but I am able to read again and watch a movie all the way through without, I mean, I still pick up my phone, but there's nothing there. So I do just put it back down. Yeah, and I still pick up my phone 300 times a day, check my email a bunch of times. There's nothing there because I've unsubscribed from everything. So the void is there. I'm somewhat filling it with long form content, right? But I'm learning to like stop and create. I'm doing now when it's time. When I got inspired by watching that beautiful film. Yeah, I can't say what's right for anyone, but for me, I'm extremely attracted to collecting herbs, connecting with nature, learning herbal medicines, eating whole foods, eating healthy, moving my body, not to an extreme, and resting. Letting the rest kind of come to me. And maybe sometime in the near future, I'll have like lots of energy and want to go build some sort of business empire. But my kids are, I'm having fun. And I want to make high quality videos with a really positive message that I hope helps others. And just know you're not alone. Like I said, I read Your Money, Your Life back in 2008 and then got back towards social media like probably 4 or 5 years ago and became an overconsumer again. And I'm like snapped out of it. Hopefully there's still people putting minimalism content in short form. I know there's a moral dilemma there, but I'm grateful to see. I have to be careful, and this is my last note. I have to also be careful though, like even though I love the cottage sharing, of course she doesn't run ads. I mean, she's got millions of subscribers, but I'll find myself wanting to be like her. Oh my gosh, I need to move to a cottage in the middle of the forest in California or wherever, far and lavender, and so then I'll find myself wanting to buy craft supplies or I mean, there's nothing wrong with that per se. Sometimes it is just sparking your things in you that you recognize, and that's okay. I have a craft issue. fine. But I also don't have to. I can also appreciate the beauty of her and her clarity on her life and take from it, look at her purpose and her clarity, and then go back to my life, which might look different, and still find joy and love in being exactly who I am without go purchase whatever at the store. Someday I'll really wear that. I'm telling myself. We're on a low buy year, so we want like a low buy life. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Eventually, I would love to monetize on YouTube. I think I have like almost 200 subscribers. So if you want to join in, please do. I will always try to be here for you guys. And I'm a former trauma therapist, so I feel ya. Love ya.